Hey fans, what's up? So I have not uploaded a video on YouTube in a while, and that's because I've literally been busy eating and sleeping and eating during the Tet holiday seasons, which also explains my fat chubby cheeks. Okay, at this point, I know many of you guys are wondering, okay, why EatenByLong is filming this in English? And the answer is, I want to do so. I mean, many of you guys have requested me to film more content in English, which I think is really something I should do more often, because I know a huge part of my viewers are my lovely expats as well as those who really want to learn English. So why not? I mean, for those of you who don't know, I have been an English teacher for a while. I think I am a capable user of English. I think. And I hope that I could give you more content and more of you could see me and understand me and get to know more about food, about Vietnamese food in English. And of course, my Vietnamese viewers, do not worry, because I am in charge of the Vietnamese as well as the English subtitles. So no concerns, we understand each other, we're all good, okay? We're good. Okay, so for today's vlog, as a Kickstarter of the Lunar New Year, we are filming an episode about a very unique noodle dishes that is usually served during the end of the Tet holiday season in Hanoi, and that is BUN THANG. It's such a great delicacy, but the thing is, it looks a bit like chicken pho. And I know for many of you guys, especially those who come from other countries, you might not be able to distinguish, BUN THANG and chicken pho. But they're so different. They are so different. And for those of you guys who are not so sure about the differences, here's a little bit of information for you guys. Welcome you guys to Food Talk with EatenByLong, or whatever it is. As indicated by the random classical music, this is my attempt at giving you guys a cool lecture regarding the key differences between chicken pho and BUN THANG. KK? Chicken pho is one of Vietnam's most popular noodle dishes. This variety of pho came into existence shortly after beef pho was invented and is now widely recognized as one of the two main types of pho. Similar to beef pho, chicken pho was popularized throughout the world by the Southern refugees after the Vietnam War. Even though the chicken pho that I've seen in other countries is such a poor reflection on the original dish per se, I'm still happy that the dish received massive exposure. Now, I wish I could say the same thing about BUN THANG. Far from being an internationally famous dish, it's a delicacy only found in Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam. Traditionally, this noodle dish was made out of the leftover ingredients to cook the Lunar New Year feasts as a method of utilizing excess food. However, as holiday food evolved, the practice of cooking BUN THANG by the end of the Tet holiday season was gradually dropped by Hanoian families. Today, only a few places in town still sell BUN THANG as an everyday dish. The first difference? The noodles. As suggested by the names, chicken pho is made using pho noodles, while BUN THANG uses bun noodles, although both types are made from rice, and some even argue that both names actually originated from the same Chinese letter. The differences between them regarding their shape and size are huge. The pho noodle is much flatter and firmer. Meanwhile, the bun noodle is smaller and rounder, and its texture is much softer, stickier, and squishier. Well, think of them as the Vietnamese version of Italy's fettuccine versus spaghetti. The second point of differentiation is the toppings. As for chicken pho, the toppings usually only include parts of the chicken, including the meat and or some types of intestines, served with freshly chopped herbs. Also, chicken pho doesn't require much effort when it comes to presentation. Meanwhile, BUN THANG is far more complicated since it requires more ingredients meticulously arranged on the bowl. The essential toppings of a BUN THANG bowl include chicken meat, thinly sliced omelette, thinly sliced giò heo, which is basically Vietnamese steamed pork loaf, shiitake mushrooms, dried shrimp, pickled radish, and some herbs. I know! Probably that's why many people find this dish too time-consuming and challenging to cook. And last but not least, the broth.
Even in Hanoi, there is a widespread misconception about bun thang and chicken pho using essentially the same broth. Oh boy, how wrong is that? Although both dishes use a clear chicken-based broth, it's the aromatics that create immensely different nuances. Chicken pho uses a wide variety of roasted spices such as ginger, onion, star anise, and cardamom, together with thinly sliced lime leaves sprinkled on top of the bowl to create its signature flavor. Meanwhile, bun thang's subtle umami comes from the use of dried shrimp, as well as sa sung, which is a kind of creepy-looking sea worm that provides incredible sweetness and depth to the broth. Also, bun thang is traditionally served with a touch of shrimp paste and the aromatic extract of ga kuong, which is a rare water bug. Yeah, you heard me right, a water bug.
I mean, what else can I say? Bun thang is such a unique and signature delicacy of the Hanoian cuisine. But the thing is, these years I felt like it has changed. I personally feel like it's such a meticulous dish to make that many places are starting to become a bit lazy. They're starting to, switch up the recipes, creating shortcuts and not staying true to the original version of the bun thang dish. And I do think I've lost hope in this dish, but I'm not trying to be negative. And so that's why I've asked my followers, as well as some of other food reviewers in Hanoi, to give me suggestions for, the most authentic bun thang place in town. And I've been able to select a few of them. And you know what? Today we'll try 3 of them to see if bun thang is still as authentic as I could remember, to see if I could find the nostalgic flavors that I had when I was a child. It's going to be a tough ride, I can already imagine. I have prepared myself mentally, and so we'll go there, we'll check the food, we'll check the price point, we'll taste it, I'll give you comments. I might get hit, I might get shouted, whatever, I don't care. It's my job to be honest. So yeah, the mission today is to find authentic bun thang. Alright, so our first stop of today's bun thang adventure is Quán Cũ on Phan Đình Phùng Street, as you saw. Right off the bat, we see a very interesting bowl of bun thang. Okay, so obviously there is sort of a bit of an effort going on with the arrangement of the ingredients on the bowl, which is very reminiscent of the traditional bun thang. So that might be an indication of something great. We see mushroom, we see chicken, we see eggs. It looks like what bun thang should be. There's a few ingredients missing, but it's okay. It's okay. The ultimate factor is the test of the broth, which I'm really excited about. And also a bonus point for this place is that they have kalatho, which is a sort of a pickled radish that usually we serve with bun thang. So this could be a bonus point. It's good. And so, I guess I should jump in right now and taste this. Okay, are you ready? Here goes nothing. Or here goes everything, I should say. It's interesting. Very interesting. Not sure if it's in a good way, but we'll have another taste of it. Also, my initial impression of this bowl of bun thang is that the broth is a chicken broth. It is. You can taste the flavor of chicken in there, and the broth is also very clear, which indicates that there's a lot of effort going on in making the broth correctly. On the other hand, something is missing, I think, and that is the aromatics. I mean, well, I talked to you guys before about this. The true signature of Bun Thang broth relies on, the things that I talked to you about. The kuong and the shrimp, right? I don't see much of that in here. Those are really the flavors you need to differentiate this from a pho broth. And so right now, this is it's okay. It's okay. One bonus point that I see is that the sliced omelet is really great. The uniqueness of Bun Thang is in the meticulousness of the ingredients preparation, and I see that in here. Well, I made this before, and to make a super thin, paper thin omelet and to slice it like this is a pain in the ass. But they're doing it really well, and also I think the individual ingredients are quite nice. The chicken is not too pasty. It has a sort of a crunch to it, which is what we want. So yeah, I'm trying to be very fair here. Okay, guys, so that was our first Bun Thang bowl of the day, and to be honest, it left a lot to be desired. I mean, to say that it put up a great competition would be such an overstatement, because the overall flavor was not what I expect from a traditional Bun Thang. But it's okay. I mean, other places could do better, could do worse. So let's try to keep it neutral. I think overall it was doable, but then we'll have to go to the other locations to really compare. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's go to the second location, and God knows what will happen. Alright guys, here we are at our second stop. This is number 32 Go Street, which is one of the most famous places for Bun Thang anywhere in Hanoi. And that's also at the heart of the Old Quarter area. Very touristy, very crowded. Well, obviously not now because it's 2 p.m. now. And so, anyway, let's see if this lives up to its expectation. I'm very excited and also a bit confused because judging by the look itself, I see basically the same ingredients as the first place, but the arrangement is a bit lazy, I guess. Usually in Bun Thang, every single ingredient is placed very neatly in different sections on the bowl. Here it's a bit mixed. It's like it's thrown in there, which is okay. I mean, as long as the flavor is okay, I'm okay. I'm cool. I'm a cool person with this. Let's see. Alright guys, so I have finished half of the bowl, and I think I've experienced enough to tell you how I feel about this. It's very similar to the first bowl that I had. The broth is the same. It's a chicken broth, and it's clear. It's okay. There are bones in this to create the the umami, but again, I don't sense any sort of special aromatic ingredients to really call it Bun Thang, you know what I mean? And it's very interesting because this is a very crowded place. They are doing really great. They've been very, very great in terms of the sales, and so I think they would have had enough resources to invest in the ingredients that are a bit more expensive. Things like guong and sasung, but things that can really bring the signature flavors of bun thang. But I don't see them here, so it's falling a bit flat. The broth here is a bit stronger on the mamtom side, which I'm fine with. It's a bit funkier than the first place, but it's also very aromatic in that sense. I wish there were more aromatics coming into this. In terms of the toppings, I think it's fine. I can still see chicken and omelette and mushroom, and also I see this piece of what we call mop, which is a kind of like a squishy meatloaf, if you will, like a pork ball. Anyway, I really love this place, to be honest, because they're really friendly. The owner and the staff, they're really friendly. They allow this filming, like they're so welcoming, and they really want me to get the experience. It's just that this bowl is falling a bit flat for me. It's a pity, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, if you consider this a chicken bun instead of bun thang, then it's okay. I guess that will do. I will finish the bowl. Oh, there's one thing that I forgot to mention, and that is the pricing. For the second place, a bowl of bun thang sells for 35,000 Vietnam dong, whereas for the first place, it's 60,000. And I mean, if you compare the size, this bowl is practically just as large as the first bowl that we had. I mean, to be very fair, when you look at the setting of the first place, you can tell that the food was going to be a bit more pricey because it's a bit more of a fancy restaurant place, whereas this is very much, street food, street vendor, sort of like that. But I mean, to be realistic, and if you are really, you're really looking at the budget, then I guess this has greater value. That's it. You will definitely get full with this, and half of the price of the first place only. Fair enough. Well, the more that I eat, the more that I hate it. I don't know. It's a struggle. This is really a struggle, and this is really a debacle for me to go through. As someone who really cherishes the flavor, the old flavors of Hanoi food, of bun thang, this is traumatizing for me. To see so many popular places mess up this dish this hard. But it's okay. We're good. We still have hope. We still have hope in the third spot, which is also close from here. And so let's go there, and then we will call this a day, or something. I don't know. This is brutal. Alright guys, here we are at our third and final spot for today's bun thang battle. Well, you know what? I'm not even sure if it's a battle because everything that I've had today is literally weak sauce. Like, there's no competition. Nothing's fighting against nothing. It's so weak. Whew, Jesus. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that this would be the place where I get to rejoice, and also the place where bun thang gets the redemption that it deserves. Pray for me. Alright guys, so this is our final bowl of bun. But you know what? I'm not even sure if I could call this bun thang. I mean, so far this is the bowl that resembles chicken pho the most to me. I mean, just look at the arrangement of the components and the smell. Without shrimp paste, this is quintessential pho broth. And I mean, there's proof to this because I saw the lady using the same broth for both bun thang and chicken pho. And guys, that's a no-no. I mean, there's such a great distinction between pho and bun thang, and many places fail to recognize that, or maybe they're too lazy of having to prepare two different broths with different ingredients for two different dishes. But why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you separate the two dishes? I don't know, this is just too confusing for me. Oh my god. But here goes nothing. I will try this. So you haven't, you know. As a food enthusiast, I've always had the pathological fear of mixing two different broths together, and my fear has come true in this case. As I told you, this is a mix of pho broth and bun thang broth. And you know what the thing is? When you mix the two broths together, you would usually have to compromise a bit of both dishes. So there's only a little bit of pho seasonings as well as a little bit of bun thang seasoning in here. And so it just creates this sort of, you know, confusing flavor. I don't know. To me, this is just a bowl of chicken pho with a bit of quirky toppings on top of it. Again and again, I don't want to keep on repeating this, but I don't taste any aromatics from the shrimp, from the ka cuống, anything like that. There's no pickled radish, just like the second place. But it's almost tantalizing because I can taste lots of the chicken in this dish. She put lots of bones in here to create a very rich and full of umami sort of broth, and that's so hard. It's so hard. You're almost there. Like, why do you just have to mess it up? Why can't you just cook like two different pots of broth and we'll be happy and you'll be happy? Like, all of us will be happy. Like, but again, I will finish this because I do not want to waste food. So apparently I was wrong. There is a little bit of radish in here, but it's not pickled. I would not call this galato by any means. It's just crunchy and it adds a bit of texture, but it doesn't give anything in terms of flavor. It's just crunchy and that is it. So it's really confusing to me. Just when I think this could not get any worse, I tasted a little bit of lime leaf, which strictly belongs to chicken pho. Love it. I love it. Love it. Alright guys, so I have just returned from the three most potential places for bun thang in Hanoi, and seriously, I don't know what to say. I think I'm even gloomier than the rain right now. I mean, I just wanted a place where they could preserve the integrity of the old flavors of bun thang, but not a single place I went to did that. None of them were able to create the old flavors of bun thang that I knew and loved and cherished and savored. You know what? Let's analyze this. I mean, the ingredients were slightly modified. The broth is screwed. The broth is definitely changed. I don't see any signature aromatics. I didn't see any characteristics that could differentiate those broths from a normal chicken pho broth. And so what's the point? Why being lazy like that? I'm speechless. I am. As a Hanoi food lover, I am speechless. You guys, if any tour guides, if any of those agencies show you to those places and tell you that is, you know, authentic bun thang.
Authentic bun thang.
No, it's not. Okay? It's not authentic bun thang. Bun thang is extinct. The old flavors are gone. I'm not being extreme on this. These are just facts, okay? Deal with it. Okay, well, to be fair, I think place number one was the closest to an original BUN THANG because of, okay, reason number one, I think the arrangement of the components on top of the bowl was really similar to how we usually do it in the past. And also, place number one had these small intricate elements that are really reminiscent of old BUN THANG in the past, such as the pickled radish. But then again, the pricing of place number one was dramatically higher than the other places. So for that, I would say overall they are even. I don't think any of those places had a complete upper hand compared to each other. So, yay. Okay, my lovely fans, so we've ended today's adventure on such a low note. I'm not even joking. As a food enthusiast, as someone with a profound passion for Hanoi's traditional food, I leave this episode with a heavy heart. Come on. But, I mean, just because of that doesn't mean you guys should give up on Vietnamese food and on Hanoian food. We have so many different and amazing dishes for you guys to explore and to be blown away by. And so if you want to see more contents like this in English, please be sure to subscribe and comment and click on the bell somewhere to get more notifications, okay? I'll see you in the next episodes of EatenByLong, and for now,